When we're up, point to me.
Live from the Texas Cheer Liquor Studios. It's in the building.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Taylor and Rudy J.
So we can stop.
Well, I've always joked that I probably have ADHD,
You think so?
but I've never been diagnosed. That's going to get tested tonight.
Oh, I'm always distracted either by the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments or whatever. So
I'm good about not letting that distract me. I'm bad about letting giant neon lights and bull riding and stuff and being on location distract me. I'm going to try not to allow the ambiance and the background of what we're doing here tonight to mess me up. This is badass, though. I'm highly distracted. All I want to do is grab a Lone Star beer.
Yeah, I'm ready
and
to
soak
drink.
in this draft tonight.
I'm ready to drink.
This is cool. Welcome. It is a special edition of In the Building with me and Rudy. We are in Austin, Texas. We are at ACL Live, one of the great live venues in the world, honestly. And we were talking to somebody a minute ago, and I couldn't agree with him.
It was JJ.
It was JJ Gotch, the Gamblers
the
CEO. And he was saying, once you see a show in here,
ACL Live?
you're spoiled. You never want to go to another concert again unless it's at ACL Live.
And it's not a bad seat in the house.
It's so badass. This is ACL Live, downtown Austin, Texas, where amazing bands come through. Dave Chappelle played here last year.
Didn't he shoot the Netflix special
He
here?
did. Part of the Netflix special he did. The last one was shot right here behind us on this stage you see here behind us. And tonight, though, I Soundgarden. I saw Soundgarden in here years ago.
Here?
Yeah. And
How long this place been here now?
12, 13 years, something like
damn.
that. But because
it feels modern,
but
though.
because it's Austin, they keep it updated. Nothing goes out of date in this town because of the technology that this town has. From the microfiber cable that is everywhere, all the way to
Microfiber, Google Fiber,
whatever you call it. I mean, it's a techie town.
Yeah.
And everything stays new, and they upgrade everything. It is a tech nerd's dream being up here, and it is a concert goer's dream, and it is a live venue goer's dream, and that's what we're doing here tonight.
Yeah, and some things you can't tell me and expect me not to take you up on it. And when the CEO of the Gamblers comes up to Mike and I and says, hey, go onto the calendar. If there's a show on the calendar that you want to go to, let me know. See, I'm the type of...
He's a cool dude.
Most people will be like, hear that and be like, hey, that was really nice of him, and never want to take him up. At some point, I'm going to hit Mike up and say, Mike, can you text JJ for me?
Yeah.
And tell him I want to go to the XYZ
Rudy wants to go
show.
see Earth, Wind, and Fire in October.
Don't say that. No, I'm dead ass serious. I would go do that. Seriously.
Didn't mean to profile you. Kool and the Gang will be here in November.
We all like Earth, Wind, and Fire, even Buki.
Of course. Yeah. All right, what we're here for is...
why are we here?
It's an excuse to come to Austin and have a good time. It's an excuse to wear a Pearl Snap shirt, and it's an excuse to talk bull riding on my podcast, and that's what we're going to do a little bit tonight. We're going to do... So what we're doing here tonight, we're going to do a regular podcast. We'll talk about whatever comes up, but... we are here tonight as guests of the Professional Bull Riders. PBR Team Series Draft 2025 will commence here in about an hour and a half or so, and we thought we'd come up, take in the city. We don't get to Austin nearly enough. We should. We got to start bringing our show up here more, and we're here covering the PBR Draft. The Austin Gamblers are the official bull riding team of In the Building, and they are the defending league champions. They have the 1 and 2 ranked riders in the world, and they're basically like early '90s Cowboys right now on this league, and they just happen to be hosting this year's draft. I'm not sure it's because they won the championship. They probably rotated.
It's rotated. I'm sure it's just their turn, but it just so happened they won the title last year.
Yeah, so the gods have been good to the Austin Gamblers, and I have not jinxed them because ever since I adopted them as my team, all they've done is finish first or second. Right?
Oh, you gonna take credit?
Field the world. Well, here's the thing. They won a lottery. So when they've created this team series, they do it like the NFL. You go at worst to first. Very communist. The way they do the draft. But the first draft ever, when they first started doing the team series, they had to do a lottery like the NBA, and Austin won the lottery and got the chance to draft the best guy there was, Jose Vitor Leme. And they've carried him ever since, and they've had him ever since, and he just won back-to-back individual world championships, and so now he gets ready to lead the Gamblers in their team series. And right on schedule, we got a guest. You put these headphones on, sir. I'm gonna call you sir because you're the boss. This guy joining us now. We won't keep you too long.
Yeah, not too long.
Make sure his headphones are up, Jose. Not too. How's that? How's that, Ken? Here, say something to that mic, Ken.
Hello.
Put him on, Jose. Do
He's
a little
on.
better. Say something now.
Hi, Ken Lehner.
There you
There
go.
it
Got
is.
him. All right, thanks, Ken. Sorry. This is our first live podcast at ACO Live, so we're trying. Oh, you don't even need him. Can you hear me? That's all we need.
that's all we need.
It's an
First of all,
honor to be
this is
here.
Ken Lehner. He is he's like El Jefe. What's your official title? Is VP of the whole thing?
Well, deputy
Big boss
commissioner.
man.
Deputy commissioner.
Deputy commissioner,
but there is
yeah.
a commissioner. Commissioner Gleason is our commissioner, and
Of course.
he's our fearless leader. And,
Right.
I get an opportunity to work with him on a day-to-day basis, and
Right.
build this league, which is very exciting.
Correct. And we obviously things are going good, but this was the fourth season.
We're going into the fourth.
Okay, I just
season.
lost track. Okay.
Yeah. Time flies, right?
Gosh,
It does.
We were talking about this in golf terms the other day. It would be like if, the PGA, all of a sudden, in the middle of its season, and then the PGA and the LIV just joined forces, and they just start doing team golf in the middle of the season, and that's what y'all decided to do. It was risky.
It was. The interesting thing was that Commissioner Gleason was involved in this, and they were trying to do this prior to COVID. So
Right.
really, there was a marketing plan and there was a strategic plan in place to start this before COVID. And then COVID came around and they knocked it back for a couple
Right.
years.
Yeah.
And then we got started in 2022.
Okay.
And it's just taken off. I mean, it has taken off.
It's incredible, and I'm a fan, and sorry, now we're going to have the music. I'm a huge fan. You would have had me anyway, but even as a fan, it's exceeded my expectations. Like, I would have never thought that y'all would have a team in New York City, but you do.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, well, the interesting thing is that I came from a background of Major League Baseball and the NHL.
Yeah.
And so, having worked in team sports for my whole career before coming here, you can see over the years in those sports how they grew the franchises, they added the teams, they created greater value for ownership groups. And so, these owners that we have some owners that own other major league sports teams. Like
Right.
John Fisher owns the Oakland A's, soon to be Las Vegas. Mark Lasseter, who owns the New York team, he used to own the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
We have Richard Childress, who owns a NASCAR race team.
Yeah.
So these guys have been involved in other sports for decades,
Yeah.
and they know where this trajectory can go.
And they also understand how to build franchises.
Yes.
Which is important, kind of having that background.
Right, so perfect example of building that. Obviously NASCAR is very well known for having great corporate partnerships and all the logos on the cars and whatnot. So the last couple of years, the Carolina Cowboys, who are owned by Richard Childress, are always either number one or number two with corporate sales because they know how to
They know how
leverage
to
those
market.
relationships and things of that nature as
Great
well.
point.
So it's an interesting business model. There's a lot of aspects to the model that are somewhat similar to when Major League Soccer started, 25 or 30 years ago. Back then, in order to steer the ship, so to speak, the league office, and there was a lot of centralized ownership and decisions that were made out of the league office. And so we've kind of structured that the same way because although it seems like we've started from nothing, the PBR was there for 30 years.
Right.
Right.
It's just, now it's just the teams and everybody's like, oh, this is cool. Let me go over here and see what they're doing.
Right. So we took advantage of that foundation, brought in these other aspects of team sports that we know are successfully modeled because they've been doing it in the other sports, and voila, here we have. It's not quite that easy, but it seems like it's been easy, but we've worked hard.
It's incredible because, there's all these offshoot football leagues that try to get started, and they just never seem to get over the hump or whatever. You guys had the marketing, you had the name power, you had guys from other sports that decided to join. The Netflix series was huge. Probably got more new fans of this sport in the last 3 years than the previous 25. Is that fair to say?
Well, yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but what I will say is all those things that you mentioned, plus just there was this Americana, this feeling of Americana,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Western culture, that was coming back into vogue, so to speak. And
Yellowstone.
the Yellowstone effect, people talk about it, how many spin-offs have there been from Yellowstone
Right.
and things of that nature. And so, tying in with a lot of those guys as well has been, Cole Hauser, for example, is one of our spokespersons,
Yeah.
So that's helped us out a lot too. But I think the other thing that we looked at when you talk about the numbers was that it had kind of leveled out. Like the number of, traditional fans of bull riding that enjoyed the one-on-one competition, man versus beast, it was still a great number, but it had kind of, planed for a couple of years.
It plateaued a bit, yeah.
And you get to that situation where the thing that you're missing with individual sports versus teams is that year-round fandom and that attachment to the brand and the logos. Because in those situations, riders can come and go or players can come and go in different sports, but you're still a Red Sox fan.
Right.
Or you're still a Cubs
Great
fan.
point.
Even though they don't win the World Series all those years and the manager changes and the coaches change and the players change, you're still tied into that commitment to that team city, that logo. And so I think that's made a really big difference, and you see that here in Austin with the Gamblers doing a great job creating that brand and that marketing to new fans.
So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that. That was a good segue. Just talk about Austin as the city. You get to travel the whole country, obviously, doing this, but just talk about Austin as a city and the Gamblers themselves.
Well, first of all, it starts with great ownership. I mean, they have great ownership group, committed ownership group. Egon Durbin and the rest of his family, want to see this be successful. And so then what happens? What do you need next? You need great management. And so they went out and hired a great local individual, J.J. Gotch, who was Austin Sports Commission, was involved with the baseball team for years and the Nolan Ryan family and things like that. So like a great guy to come in and give him a new challenge, reinvigorate him. He had all the contacts and knew what he had to do in this market, but, he had a new sport to do it with. So, I mean, that was exciting to him. And then, great place to ride at the Moody Center. Which is an outstanding place to ride. They ended up getting, it's really important in our industry, similar to golf or NASCAR, that you get the right weekend, because right now with the way the schedule is, you only come to Austin once a year. And so they have a weekend at the end of August before the kids come back to school. So it's a great, time for them to sell tickets and still have the main dominance in the sports world here before the football season starts and things like that. So they've done a lot of things right. They came out with a great logo with that accent green.
I love it. I love the green.
Everybody loves it. Actually, we were just. I work for the league office, so I'm not allowed to play
Of
favorites.
course. No, it's okay.
In general,
It's okay.
in general.
You're in the home of the whole city. It's okay.
No. But a perfect example of favoritism is like we just put out the draft cards and we put out fresh Sharpies on every table, for the people to write their selections down.
Right.
Well, I gave everybody black Sharpies except for Austin. They got a nice green.
They got a
Sharpie.
nice green.
Yeah.
Hey, that's only right. It's only right.
That match their colors. so
That's
to
great.
speak.
Ken, you mentioned that you worked in hockey and baseball. So first of all, tell people who'd you work for, and were you a fan of this sport then, or did you have to see it first?
No, honestly, that's a great question because, I have worked in sports my whole career, and I came up through minor league baseball and then ultimately got a chance to help the Florida Marlins start their expansion franchise down in Miami in 1993, which was a great experience. And then from there, got called away and helped the Hartford Whalers relocate to Raleigh, North Carolina, to the Hurricanes.
To the
Worked out pretty good.
Yeah, that's worked out. They're playing some pretty good
They
hockey
are.
right now. But so then from there, Tampa Bay Lightning, and then ultimately along the way, I went to Duke and to grad school at Duke. And the number one thing I learned at Duke was be your own boss and make your own money.
What have I told you, Rudy?
That's what we're trying to do. You touched my heart there, Ken.
So I went out and I worked with some friends and we built a $60 million minor league baseball stadium and we owned the team for 10 years. And
Awesome.
it was a great experience.
A lot of work, though.
A ton of work, though, but really rewarding work. It wasn't so much about the paycheck; it was about the passion.
Right.
Sure. And so, with that being said, I got into a situation where we sold the team literally right before COVID, and I didn't know what I was going to do next, and I didn't really have a lot of pressure to do anything because we just sold the team, but I literally saw an advertisement for PBR to be the director of travel. And I'm like, that sounds like a great job.
Let me try something new.
Let me try something new.
cool.
Travel around the country and like get hotels for cowboys. And I thought I had to move the bulls around in the trucks too, because I didn't know anything about the sport.
Right.
So anyway, I apply for the job. Crickets. Don't hear anything for 6 months. Don't hear a word. 6 months. Don't hear a word. Get a call back, and it's the president of the PBR, Rod Granger, and he goes, "Have you figured out yet that you're overqualified for the director?"
they were looking at your resume, Ken, like, why is this guy applying for? What is he doing? Right.
It's fun.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. It's fun. And then he was like, "Hey, listen, you know what? We didn't call you back because we're creating the perfect job, and you're the only person that we want to talk to first."
Very good.
And I said, "Whoa!" Getting back to your original question, I said. I've been to one bull riding event in my life, and it was before I was married, and I've been married 25 years. and they said, no, that's what we want. They said, we want some people that come in from, different sports that don't have history, don't have any beefs with people or anything like that. Come in with a clean slate and, help us build this. And so it's been great. So I had to get into the business to fall in love with the business, but now it's an intense love, just like the ride.
I love that they took that attitude with you, though.
Yes.
That attitude, because that's the only way to grow, because you got the people that love it already. Those people are going to be there regardless. How do we get everybody else in, and you were able to come in and help with that?
And again, we got a great team here, and it's not just about
me.
Not
just you, right.
But at the end of the day, it was, bring some new people in.
Yeah.
And then look at what happened. JJ came in,
right.
JJ living in Texas probably knew a little bit more about bull riding than I did. But we got Jim Smith, who's the manager of the Kansas City Outlaws. He's vice president of strategy for the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah,
that's his full-time job. Vice president of strategy for Major League. So now all these people, to your point, have started to come into the mix, and they can bring the new ideas and the other success stories, and that's been a big lift for us.
Before I let you go, I was told to ask when your next meat raffle is going to be held. Your next meat raffle.
Oh, jeez. That is a JJ question. There's no question about that.
He did. He set us up.
I told you he was going to get mad. Tell him he got mad. That's what we'll fake it.
The irony in all that is that I grew up in Buffalo, New York, which it turns out is like the meat raffle capital of the world, and I never knew what a meat raffle was.
What is it?
I'm not sure I want to know.
I don't know. What is it?
No, it's like they only do it in like northern Minnesota and like parts of western New York.
Okay.
And basically people get together and different grocery stores or meat companies donate pieces of meat. And then they raffle them off. You go in there and you drink beer and you buy raffle tickets, and you could win a side of beef, you could win pierogies, you could win Italian sausages. And
that's awesome.
I had never been.
I want to go.
It was crazy. It was crazy good, and it was for charity. I mean, they raised money for charities.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a charity thing,
Right.
And the different, like instead of going and having like a potluck dinner or the car wash for the little leagues and these other places, they're doing these all winter long. And they're making a ton of money.
And feeding people.
You had me at make ton of money.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have a meat raffle on the podcast.
Maybe we should. That's awesome.
kept you way too long, Ken. Thank you, man.
My pleasure. I apologize for being a
No,
few
no,
minutes
no,
late
you won't. We're
the
good.
noise, but this is great that you guys are out
Thank
here,
you, sir.
and we
Thank
can't
you.
grow the sport without you folks taking
That's
time
the goal.
and attention for
Thank
us.
you.
So,
Thank you.
We'll see you tonight.
Good talking
We'll
to
see
you.
Yep, enjoy.
We'll stay in touch.
we will take
Thank you
that.
very
All right,
much.
guys.
All right,
Thank
Ken
you.
later.
Hold on to that.
Sorry,
Thank you, Andrew.
it's Ken's
Sorry.
fault. He wouldn't stop talking.
It wasn't our fault, Andrew.
Take care. Thank you very much. All right,
Thank
Ken
you,
later,
Ken.
Deputy Commissioner. And dude, I'm sitting here thinking, this is what the football leagues get wrong. What?
Don't lose that card.
Oh, dude, please. I'm a salesman. I
know.
told you. I
Don't
used to
lose
be a
that
talk
card.
show host. Now I'm a seller
Yeah, don't
and a
lose that.
marketer. I'm not.
They need us. He just told you.
I know. Act like we know what we're doing.
Man, yeah, we're just talking amongst
All
ourselves
right, if
and
you're
the
just
17
popping
people
in,
watching.
if you're just popping in, we are doing a special edition of our show, live from ACL Live in Austin, where the Austin Gamblers are about to host, as the host city, host franchise, the 2025 PBR draft, and we're going to have it here behind us. So it starts. So if you're watching this thing live. The draft starts at 7, so we're going to get out of here at 6:15.
7? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get out of here at 6:15 or so. Pack our gear, get out of here. We're going to grab a beer and watch the draft for a little while, and see and watch. Cause I've never been to anything I've never been to like a professional league draft before. It's pretty cool.
I've never been.
I've never covered anything.
Not
never
live.
covered
Not
anything.
NBA. Not NFL.
No,
nothing.
no, never
me
covered
either.
it. Dude, So I'm thinking about these football leagues. This league.
You talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, what he was talking about, like all these guys from like, there's a guy that runs Atlanta Braves strategy who also works for a team as like a boss. Ken's a hockey guy from New York and worked for baseball clubs. The football team, it's like there was like a good old boy network that ran PBR, and they wanted to grow the sport. How do we do it?
Get other people.
It's one thing to show fans our sport, but let's go get other people that don't know anything about our sport to work in it and actually run the thing.
You know what else, though? It's also like there's a space. For one, I feel like there's a group of fans in this sport that, like me, me as a kid, I remember watching bullfighting with my grandfather.
Yeah.
With my grandpa. Like, we're already kind of there because we all like bulls. Like, we all have an infatuation with bulls in some way, shape, or form, right? And then you find a way to, by going to get people outside that think outside the box.
Yeah.
Let's do it this way. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's put a team in New York. Let's put a bull riding team in New York. Like, think about that. You know what I mean? So it's all about making sure you're not the smartest person in the room and getting people that think differently. And then y'all throw it all in the pot, and then you eliminate, and then you come up with the PBR team league, and it's taking off.
Right. All right. So sorry for the background music, but they're getting ready for the draft and everything.
They're doing rehearsals.
Yeah. Shane Smith and the Saints, the band, they're going to play. Oh yeah, absolutely. They got. So there was a couple of scenes in Yellowstone where the guys at the end of the night would go to like the local honky tonk, just get some beers after a long day, and they'd have like local bands. One of the bands was Shane Smith and the Saints.
So they were on Yellowstone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They're huge, man. Yeah. They got like.
So we're in the house with the Yellowstone band too.
Yeah, and he mentioned
this is a little bit cooler than I thought.
Dude,
I already knew it was cool, but this is turning into a real big deal.
No, it is a big deal, and it's going to get bigger and bigger. And so, like, first he mentioned Cole Hauser. Cole Hauser played Rip on Yellowstone. Everybody knows Rip.
Yeah.
That was Rip. And Cole's one of their spokes guys. This league's gone balls out to blow it up. And here's the thing. The easiest part to do is the sport itself. Anyone that watches bull riding, in person especially, leaves a fan forever.
I've seen it in person a couple times.
It's easy for me to see that, but once you see it on a big level like this, and you see it up close and in person, you're a fan for life.
And
for sure.
Was that last week we talked to JJ?
Yeah.
That was last week.
Like Monday or Tuesday.
That was last week we talked to JJ.
Monday or Tuesday.
And I was asking him about like New York. And he said, well, when you got a sport like what we have, that doesn't come to New York often. They see a hockey game anytime. They see a basketball game anytime. Bull riding ain't coming through that much. So the demand is there because it's niche, but it's not corny niche. This is like cool. This is like really cool. Like it's bull riding.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And here's the thing. It takes 8 seconds.
So it's
the rise of it also is rising with, and this is actually, we bitch about like ADHD and kids are on their phones all day and instant gratitude. This sport gives instant gratitude, man. It's 8 seconds long if you're lucky.
So
if you're good.
If you ain't got no attention span, you good.
It's great for guys like me.
And sometimes it only lasts 2 seconds, sometimes 3.
Sometimes 3, and sometimes it's very, very dangerous. So it's very dangerous.
It's dangerous every time.
You're relying on a 2,500-pound animal, first of all, and you have about a 5'7", 5'8" guy that's mad, that's doing his job. These bulls love the job. They do. They're treated. These bull. What did you say?
He said 14
but
to
25
15.
sounds so much better.
Yeah.
We've said it for years, 2,000 pounds.
Okay.
The biggest of the big.
What?
Right. Okay.
So about 15.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't want to.
14,
I'm
18.
fine.
I like that. Appreciate
okay.
the
Well,
fact check.
25 just sounded cool, but I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Is it still scary to think of a
15
1,700-pound animal?
scary.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still scary.
The one I got on, they said was, of course, they sold it. The one, you know what? I forget now. When I went out to Thrall, Texas, way the hell out here in the middle of nowhere. It was a bull riding ranch, a bucking bull ranch, and they were going to get me on in the shoot. You've seen the video.
Yeah.
And I was fine until it was Michael Gaffney, the coach of the Gamblers, is like, he weighs about 2,000 pounds, so just he won't even know you're on him. I'm like, bull crap, dude. He won't know I'm on him. Stop. And then I get in the shoot. Boots go down. Of course, Gaffney's messing with me. First of all, I don't have a helmet on. You don't need a helmet. We're not going to open the chute. You don't need a helmet. Okay. So I'm about to sit down, and he goes, just don't be nervous because he'll sense it. I'm like, yeah, no shit. And then just keep your legs still because he could crush your ankles in the shoe. Oh, okay. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? Get me out of here.
Get me off.
I want to watch.
No, I would never get
I
off.
put my knees on the thing, and I'm like, you know what? Get my ass out of here. And so they yanked me up. You've seen that video. Golly, I was scared to death. And the animal can hear you. So you have a wild
They can
beast.
feel it.
How much ever they weigh, it's a massive wild beast, right?
1,500 pounds is
Whose
huge.
job is to sling a little dude all over the place while a guy hangs on with one hand.
And it's
and
not that
tries
it's
to
just
do it
15.
8 seconds.
It's not that it's just 15. It's 1,500 of pure muscle. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's one thing to be
Yeah.
1,500 pounds of slob. It's
No.
1,500 pounds of muscle.
Oh, and that's the other thing. This sport has grown because, like 40 years ago, it was a bunch of bubbas and a bunch of wild ass bulls and beer bellies and
Right.
smoking cigarettes in between rides. These are athletes, dude.
Right.
Like the gamblers have like data analysis, nutritionists, chefs. These kids that get drafted tonight will be put on a mandatory diet. I'm not kidding.
yeah, you got to be,
For sure. If you want to sign a contract with the gamblers, you're going to agree to be in tip-top shape. The nutrition aspects, the training aspects, the mental aspects, and the bulls are bigger and badder than ever. JJ was saying that the other day. One of the problems is the bulls are actually starting to pass the humans because they're in such terrific shape physically.
and they have a lot of them.
Yeah.
We don't have enough riders to keep up.
They outnumber the riders, and so that's actually.
so maybe
but
we
that's
need
a
to,
good thing.
So what?
It's a
We
good
need to
problem.
expand.
Maybe, yeah. I think that's JJ's way
But
of
I
saying
like
we need
it.
2 or
I
3
like
more
it at
teams.
10, though.
How badass would it be if the NBA were 10 teams?
So much better.
Oh my God!
It'd be a lot less jobs, but it'd be a lot.
There would.
It would be much better product.
Dude, you're watching. Yeah, exactly. So
Much
that's
better
what you have
product.
here. You only have 10 teams, and so the kids that get drafted are all Victor Wembanyama. Because there's only going to be 20 of them get picked in the world. And there's not 32 teams, and they'll do
Right.
7 rounds, only a couple of rounds, of 10 teams, and so they're all elite. And so to win the league the way Austin has done, it's the mid 90s Bulls, the 80s Bears, the early 90s Cowboys, all in the same league.
Yeah, I love it.
That's badass. And anybody that watches it for the first time,
Ooh.
I'm not saying you're going to run out and buy boots and start watching it all and everything, but you will not leave here if you go watch it a
Did we
minute and
get
not be a
dark,
fan.
Jose? Did you lighten us up? Lighten
All
us
right.
up, Jose.
Hey, watch the racist jokes.
No.
Oh, here we go. No,
Smile,
by you.
Rudy.
Not by you.
Smile,
Did
Rudy.
someone just give me money?
Yeah, Greg Castanuela.
Thank you, Greg.
$1.99. Let you borrow my boots for nothing. Who?
Greg offered to let you borrow some. Yeah.
Oh, he didn't. Not me.
Oh, who, me? I've got
Was it
boots.
you?
I got a pair of boots at home. I didn't actually.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking
I
about. It
knew
wasn't
we were
me.
gonna. I knew we were going to be walking around the streets of Austin today, and I didn't want to wear boots all day because we've
No,
been out
I
in the
didn't
city.
either.
And,
I had a couple people. My man Ruben, Cafe
Yeah.
Del Mon, and Robles.
Okay, cool.
But I was like, I know we want to kind of walk around the town. I don't want to walk around in boots. So.
when we come back in August for the actual event at the Mood, I'll wear my boots then.
Oh, at the Mood. You're
At the Mood.
That's how you say it.
Well, here in us Austinites say the Mood.
The Mood?
Yeah, the Mood. We'll get you in the Mood.
I didn't know it was the
Yeah.
Mood.
By the way,
I do feel a
that's
little
a
out.
good. That's a good. You feel what? Out of place?
Not because of that, but because I should have wore the whole hat and the boots and the whole.
Oh, we're good, man. This is a good segue into, and this will piss off a lot of our viewers in San Antonio. Just what a transcendent, technologically advanced, high tone city this is, and it's cool that we have it this close to us in San Antonio back home. Like, I don't know that I could ever live here again. Not saying I wouldn't, but it's very expensive.
I don't know if I could afford it. Right,
It's very
right now.
expensive, but I'd love to get up here whenever I get a chance to do the things that go on in this town. This town gets all the big shit.
And the cool shit.
Yeah, when Dave Chappelle came through, he played right here behind us on that stage.
Right.
They get cool shit up here.
No, my
it's
wife.
not a shot at us. It's just it's
not a shot at San Antonio.
It's Austin. It's
No,
Austin.
I brought my wife, but she's not here with us. She's painting the town. She already texted me. Is there any chance we can move here? I'm like, no. She already texted me.
Really?
Like, she's having that good a time. She's like, and she's by herself. She's like, is there any chance we can move here? I was like, probably not right now.
You better keep an eye on her. There's a lot of billionaires up here,
told her to
multi-millionaire
I
tech
told
guys.
I told her you could do what you want if they underwrite in the building. I'm pulling a Jose.
Oh, okay, but
I'm pulling a Jose. If
right.
she could get one of these tech billionaires to say, "Hey, in the building, I'll give y'all $350,000 a year," she can get a little side action.
Anna, are you dedicated to your man or not? This is going to show this. How dedicated are you? How committed are you to our cause?
Yeah, she need to get us
No,
$500,000.
because this goes back to so many things we've talked about in the past. It's like, oh, the Spurs are going to move to Austin.
No, they're not.
Austin, freaking Austin. San Antonio has
Austin's
got to.
awesome. I'm sorry.
And we have San Antonio has got to get over this Austin phobia that we have.
We're insecure when it comes to Austin.
We got to get over it. Because
Damn,
here's
I'm
what's
black
happening.
as hell. Look how
Sorry,
black
they
I am.
turned the lights out behind us, and
It's
so
all
the
good.
lights were perfect there for a minute. This is what I get for not bringing my ring
I
light,
should've brought
Jose.
mine, too.
Or you should have actually, Buki.
Yeah.
These two
The
towns
Austin insecurities.
are merging. We drove up here today. We took I-35, of course, coming up here. And
It felt like 25 minutes.
it was don't knock on the wood. It was the easiest drive I've ever had coming up here. I don't know why, but we got up here at a flash.
Yeah.
And it weren't like you were speeding either. You were in
I don't
center lane,
speed,
driving
yeah,
like a daddy.
chilling.
Yeah, you drive like me. I noticed
Yeah,
today.
I chill.
Yeah, me too.
I ain't no
same.
speeder.
Yeah, I'm saying. But the point is like it's hard to. We're getting to the point now, and I knew this was coming, where it's hard to tell where San Antonio ends and Austin begins.
Right.
Because New Braunfels is exploding.
San Marcos.
Comal County is exploding.
Yeah.
San Marcos is exploding. Kyle, Buda, all these points in between. Hayes. I mean, I think Hayes consolidated now. I think they were a 2A school, 2A district when I moved here in 2007. I think Hayes is 5A now. I want somebody will correct me on that. We're just exploding, and we're turning into. And y'all won't like it. You can like it or not. You can't stop what's happening. We are turning into Fort Worth, Dallas South. We are. We just are.
It's SATX. That's the Spurs jersey. That wasn't because they were going to move.
No.
That's because we're one. We are one. Like Mays and Frankie Beverly said. That wasn't like a this is just an accident or this is what is San Antonio, Texas. No.
Yeah.
We want to include them. We
Right.
want their money. We want their dollars. We
Right.
want their people to come down. That's why we're playing in the Moody Center. Like it's a big happy family.
Well,
We're just gonna become a big happy
yes.
family, and we got to get used to
Right,
it.
and we're never going to be brothers, but we're going to have to be cousins with Austin. We
Right.
are. We already are. There's
Yeah.
just nothing we can do
This is
about
like you
that.
and you like if I say you from Dallas, like no, I'm from
No,
Fort
no,
Worth.
and I always correct you.
Yeah, because we're cousins.
Yeah.
but we ain't brothers.
Correct. Absolutely. We're
Right.
cousins, and we go to the same family reunions, and we watch the same. We like the same teams, and we go.
Right.
I mean, the average sports fan in San Antonio likes the Spurs, the Cowboys, and the Longhorns. All right. The average sports fan that's not a California transplant in Austin likes the Cowboys, the Longhorns, and the Spurs. The average one does. We already have a lot in common. Yeah, there's a lot of transplants here, and then these poor Californians get a bad rap too because they come here and they're making Texas not Texas and Austin is not. Tough shit, man. You know what? At some point, we can either continue to bag on the Californians that live here or embrace them as adopted Texans. I mean, at some point, we got to get over this buffoonery. We're always going to have a rival because it's fun.
It's fun.
Like, I bag on Dallas all the time, but they're still my cousin. You know,
Right.
It is what it is. I'm a fan of the Dallas Cowboys.
I think
You know,
that
the
I think
Texas
it's,
Rangers, everyone thinks plays in Dallas, and they don't. But it's fine. I'm used to it because they're cousins,
well,
and
it's-
we got to become better cousins with Austin, Texas.
and we got to be nice to the Californians. Our
Yes.
real
Yes.
estate, compared to theirs, our real
Right.
estate's cheap. It is what it is.
Oh, I know. But Austin does not. It's not without its problems. And San Antonio's not without its problems either. Does that help, Bouquet?
No, it's fine actually. Isn't
Or
it?
is it okay? Okay, we're doing in the building in the dark. It's okay. No, that was
No,
the
it's
point
not.
I wanted
It's
to
fine.
make.
On the camera, it looks fine,
Okay,
right?
I just wanted to make. I just wanted to get that point out there. You know, and by the way, a lot of San Antonians, see, and this will piss off a lot of people back home.
Here we go.
They got pissed off over the MLS thing because
I
they feel
felt
like
like-
they got played by the league, knowing the whole time they were going to stick a team in Austin and never intended to put a team in San Antonio. And played San Antonio to get Austin a franchise.
I
The
feel-
Columbus team that moved down.
Yeah. No, I felt like. Well, I didn't feel like. My sources told me that it was a SSE sabotage job.
My sources tell me the same.
Okay, so I don't know how true that is. Spurs Sports Entertainment. I don't want no smoke. I'm just telling you that's what some people are saying. allegedly happened that Spurs Sports Entertainment didn't want to share HEB and USAA with another pro team.
Well, yeah, that's right. And
That's what
I
I
don't
heard.
blame them. And so what do the Spurs do? They fight like hell to prevent MLS from coming. And then, okay, cool. They didn't come. Cool. Now let's go market our team up there.
Yeah.
That's genius to me. I'm not bagging on
it's
that.
good business. Good business. Good business, man. Let's go get it all.
We're all a big soup. It is okay, and because I'm a fan of of Austin FC. You know, I mean, I had Matthew McConaughey on the old radio show when I
You
found
had
out.
Matthew McConaughey on?
Yeah,
How did I miss that?
I don't know. It was a few years ago when they first when Matt and his partners first bought the team.
Yeah.
and they switched down here and we got the club. We had Matt on.
Damn, I missed that.
Yeah, and it was great. There was some old drops. And enjoy the waves out there, sir, because I happened to be in Hawaii.
You're in Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah. And so my teams are the Spurs and the Cowboys and UT
And TCU.
and Austin FC and the Austin Gamblers. You know,
And SAFC.
and SAFC. And they're in different leagues.
They are different leagues.
So we can be bitter for the next 40 years that we didn't get
Or
Austin
embrace it
FC,
and just be big time.
or quit being a puss and come up here and go check out this stadium where Austin FC plays because it's effing incredible.
I've heard it's insane.
It's
I
insane.
have not been, but the stuff I've seen on TV and on social media, the atmosphere looks insane.
And by the way, and businesses are the ones that have probably merged these two towns more than anybody, more than the population explosion. I can't go anywhere in San Antonio without seeing a Torchy's or a P. Terry's. They built a Halcyon Coffee. Halcyon's a legendary Austin coffee shop right here on the corner.
Halcyon's in Austin.
Which
I used to go in the
street.
Is that not the Pearl?
It's
Blue,
in the Blue Star Brewer.
Yeah, I used to go.
The original's right up the street here. I might actually go there when we get out of here next because
Didn't
I
know
could
that.
use some caffeine. Everywhere you look, there's Austin companies blowing up in San Antonio, and it's good and it's okay. We can continue to bitch, or we can embrace.
Let's embrace. Let's make our own little metroplex.
I'm becoming more peaceful as I get older. I'm not trying to hate on Austin up north. Let's embrace Austin. They have a lot of strengths. It's not all a bunch of transplants and bad traffic. They have a lot of strengths as a city. A lot of the hate, let's face it, is envy. Honestly, it is. And so let's just embrace them. They don't make them familia, not your brother, but at least realize
did you call us a
you're
bunch of
your
haters?
cousin. San Antonio's got a bunch of Austin haters. There's no question about that. They just do. They just do, man.
And the truth hurts sometimes.
The truth, but it may hurt, but it's still the freaking truth. So that's it. All right, that's it. So happy to be in Austin. It's our first ever in the building, remote here in Austin. Makes me want to get back up here as soon as we can.
How do you do a remote anywhere else after you've done one at ACL Live?
Well, I told you when you joined me, it'd only be big time shit. I either want to do big time or no time. Honestly,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do one anywhere else. I'm in the best, according to somebody that travels the entire country all the time for a living.
Yeah,
this is the best place in the country.
The acoustics
to watch
in
a
here,
live show.
This is incredible. Yeah,
Jose has been in here. He loved it. He said it was awesome.
He watched a YouTube show.
He watched the podcast, Deuces and Marrow.
Yeah.
You come
Y'all
through.
Are good.
You're
come on
good.
through.
You're good.
Yeah, as Deuces, they're not together anymore.
No, they separated.
A traveling YouTube show, huh?
Yeah.
That played at a concert venue.
We got to make it happen.
On a stage.
Got to make it happen.
Huh. Well, matter of fact, Rudy, we are, because the next remote we do will be on June 21st.
Yes.
At High Waves Event Center in beautiful San Antonio, Texas.
We love San Antonio.
It's my hometown.
Yeah.
Two of my kids are from there.
Austin is our second highest rated viewership, by the way.
Well, that is true too. If you
Just
look at
letting
the
y'all
data
know.
of in the building, 13, the second
Austin
highest city,
loves us.
and that makes sense. They're up the road. They should be number 2 after San Antonio for views in the building.
Yeah.
But we'll be exclusively in San Antonio on June 21st. It's a Saturday night. Doors open at 5:00 at High Waves Church Event Center It's just outside 1604 on Highway 90. Me and Rudy, an evening with us. We're going to do a live performance on a stage, kind of like this one behind us. I'm excited.
Kind of like that one.
Well, let's just go with a stage behind us. Maybe the acoustics aren't there. Don't bag on the venue. That's our spot.
I love the venue. I love the venue. I'm just saying it at ACL Live. I love it.
It's not. Nothing is. All right. I'm gonna have to. I can't. You can't see. This is not gonna be fair. From now on, every time we go
I'll be
somewhere,
like it ain't ACL Live.
You cannot be comparing it to
I won't
this.
do that.
All right. High Waves is going to be great. I look forward to it. Tickets are on sale right now through Eventbrite.
Hey, the VIPs are going quick. There's eight VIP seats gone.
There's 150 seats total. I'm not sure how many are allotted for VIP. A good and healthy enough.
But I'm just saying the VIP. We weren't even selling that many VIP, were we?
I think the first 5 rows. I want to say,
rows, okay.
Yeah, and if it slows, we'll shorten it, or if it blows up, maybe we'll expand it. I have no idea. We're gonna ride. See, this is our first live show, and so we're gonna ride the
First
waves
concert,
here. And it depends on how many of y'all actually buy tickets to this thing. We want to make sure that by the time the 21st gets here, Rudy and I have put together a really kick-ass killer show for our people. And it's a celebration of in-the-building viewers. It's a celebration of in-the-building sponsors, supporters, our subscribers, our members. And it's a celebration of our town. And it's a celebration of me and Rudy hooking up and becoming a team over a year ago.
Maybe Book could get his parents to come out so they can see who he works with.
No way. Yeah, we found out today that Bouquet absolutely is a black sheep.
Yeah, he has a brother that has his shit together.
Well, his brother
brother's nothing like him.
His brother produces the show Snapped.
Yeah.
Which Nina has watched a lot of.
I used to watch it with my wife, and she'd be like, you see, if you cheat on me, I'm going to shoot you in the face and say you killed yourself.
Right. That show's wild,
It's
man.
one of those shows where you can look up, it's 1, you start, right? And then you look up again, and it's 5. And you've just been binge watching it, eating snacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just vegged out and you've spent 4 hours watching
So
Snap.
I was wondering, like, his brother's name is Carlos. Is like part of his job to keep up with females that murder people? So maybe because it's a future show? Like, are you scouring the news cycle trying to find murderous women so you can feature their stories?
There's another team that does that.
Oh, okay, they have a
there's
team that does that.
He's like that.
That
He's like,
sounds
that
like
ain't
a
my
fun.
team.
That's a
He's
fun
like, I'm a
gig.
producer.
That sounds like a fun gig. Keep up with all the murders by women.
Yeah. They have a team for it.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we have. So the point being, we have dual production today.
And then his sister's Emmy Award winning.
TV reporter in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, and then his brother-in-law calls soccer in the Mexican League.
Don't forget that my sister's hot.
Dude,
why do you need to
turn that
say
mic
that?
off and stop? Don't come over
Look,
here
even
anymore.
his brother's shaking his head like, dude, what is wrong with you?
We're in a multi-million. We're in a $50 million concert hall. At least wear your hat right if you're going to be on camera. Jeez. Doesn't he just scream, slacker producer kid, the way he's dressed today with his old beat up
Carlos looks
Celtics
nice.
T-shirt on, of course. And of course he gets like a oh, no, hell, don't be messing
He's
with my
about to turn his
volume.
mic off.
And then we have lunch here today, and he has like the kids meal with the
chicken sandwich.
the
And I
chips
heard
and
him
the
order.
cheap
Hold on, I
sandwich.
heard him order. He was
Okay.
like, because it came with all this hipster stuff on it, like other stuff.
Did you wipe out all the
Yes.
ingredients?
He wiped
just
out
give me
all
the
the
ham and cheese.
Yes.
with the
He said, just give me the
chips.
Can I just have it with just the chicken? And I was like, I'm sitting there watching him. I was like, I can't wait to get on the show and make fun of how he told them to don't put anything on his chicken sandwich.
Yeah, and make sure my bread has the gluten in it.
Yeah. we went to a very Austin lunch.
We went to local, right down the street here on the
Local,
corner.
yeah.
Yeah. We went to local food. Yeah, that's what it's called. Literally, it's called local food, and you'll love this. It's all the food you ate today was harvested within a 10-mile radius. Of
Really?
in this
so
city.
is that
yeah.
considered farm to table? Did
Yes,
I
sir.
have farm to table?
Yeah, you ate.
Oh my
went
God, I'm so
You
excited.
went ass to mouth today.
I was so
what do they
excited.
call that? No, they don't. Yeah, farm to table. I said ass to mouth. I
Yeah,
meant farm to table. Yes,
It's not
Yeah, I
ass
made
to
the boys
mouth.
eat at a very Austin-y. Tell me what's wrong. You know why is it so uncool to grow your own food and eat it like farmers did for 1,000 years in this country?
Because we've gotten so used to the process.
That's backwards.
It's not only that, Mike. Nobody wants to do it anymore. Like we used to take pride in that. Nobody has time to grow their own food.
This town
anymore.
does. A lot of the restaurants do. And by the way, we had this conversation too. This is by far and away the fittest town in Texas, and there is no close number 2.
You sure about that?
Absolutely. It's the most fit
Bet-
city in
but
Texas.
Fitter than Dallas?
by a
Well, in
shitload.
Texas, yeah, Texas.
By a
Most cities in Texas are fat.
Not this one. This one's
Not
top
this one.
5 in the country every year in most fit. Because
They just walk.
folks up here walk.
And they farm to table.
take nutrition
And you can't
serious.
even get anything. Like at that place we went to eat local, there wasn't anything on there that was make you fat.
No, it was
It was a full healthy menu.
No, and did you leave full?
No.
I
don't want to be full, but I didn't leave full. But I was like satiated.
Okay, and you had pozole.
Yeah, but a healthy pozole. It
With
had pumpkin
all
seeds.
natural veggies grown here in town.
Natural pumpkin seeds, natural hominy,
Mm-hmm.
Organic chicken.
Okay, and why do people get made fun of for eating like this? That's stupid. That's backwards.
No, I'm not making fun of
I
nobody
know, but
for
I'm
that.
not you, but like
Yeah.
people do. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
It's the
understand
thing.
that.
No, that's the thing.
Well, and here's the problem, though. Okay, fine, that farm to table, then that's an excuse to upcharge by $12.
That's true, too.
That's the
Now,
comeback. It's expensive.
It is, like, for a family of 6, it's tough.
No question. No one
It's
said
tough.
that. Then
It's tough.
therein lies the dichotomy of this town.
Yeah, that's a fair argument.
All right, it is in the building.
But RFK Jr. is supposed to fix all that, ain't he?
Well, we're waiting on him to.
As soon as he gets the
okay?
worm out of his head.
He has some sort of lifetime
Is
affliction.
he okay? Is he okay? That's
I don't
not
know.
funny.
He has a worm
That's
in
not
his head.
I'm qualified. I cut it by 100. Give me
He does
credit.
have bobblehead voice too.
Give
Like,
me
real
credit.
shake. Yeah.
Give me credit.
I'm distracted because we're here.
Yes.
I'm excited because we're here up at ACO Live. And it kept me from getting sad. I didn't even see this. Nina actually sent this to me first, and
What?
I checked my phone. The great George Wentz died today.
George Wentz is
the
passed.
long Norm from Cheers.
Which one's
got
Norm, the
died.
little fat one?
The big fat guy. Every time he
Damn,
walks
that's the
in.
only one I remember. And the other guy that worked the bar.
Well, that's Sam and Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every time Norm came in, everybody went, Norm. That was the thing. Big
Norm died?
Big Norm died today. Big Norm. And also famous for his legendary SNL bits where he played doubles. They always had him on those bits.
that was
I had a heart attack. He was the Chicago guy having a heart attacks. Sucks to hear that George Wentz died. We were just talking about last night at dinner. We were actually, I think maybe I killed George Wentz because I was talking about how I cried at the finale of Cheers.
You did?
Absolutely. Saying goodbye to Cheers, I was teared up the way they.
I
did you
didn't.
see the finale?
It wasn't a staple in my house.
Right.
Like,
I understand.
I knew of Cheers.
Understand. Yeah,
Is that, you want to know where everybody?
That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We knew of it, and here and there we would stop by, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like a staple in my house for
Right.
me to be attached to.
So we
it
were
like
talking
that.
about this just yesterday. I can't believe George Wentz died today. We were talking about television finales that have messed you up because I said earlier today on the podcast that we're going to start watching
The Last of Us. And the last episodes of
And
Tearjerker.
apparently last night or a couple of nights ago for the finale, everybody was just wailing with tears. And we were talking about shows that have legit made us cry, like shows that you actually give your heart to. You invest in these characters, and they become a big part of your life. And when it's over, and not only is it over, you're sad because your favorite show or one of them ends. If it ends in a sad fashion or just saying goodbye to these characters that you've fallen in love with, sometimes you get a little. Have you ever teared up at the end of any program ever? Big bad tough man Rudy,
The season finale,
or at least been down in the dumps, sad over. Or series finale, like this was the last one ever, like the
Damn.
last Cheers ever.
I think the
was sad.
last. I mean, I know what's happened. Like here recently, maybe found out he's a little bit of a weirdo, but Cosby's hit me in the feels.
The last one.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even remember the finale of the Cosby Show.
I just remember being sad. I don't remember what happened, but I remember that being a big deal in my
Vanessa
house.
moves out, marries the
Yeah.
soldier, the Navy guy.
I don't remember what happened. I just
Theo
remember
moves out, goes to college.
Yeah, we were just all sitting around like, damn, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a bummer.
I remember it was a little tearjerker when it wasn't the finale, but obviously Fresh Prince, Why He Don't Want Me.
Oh, that episode made
Yeah, that
everybody
epi-
cry.
yeah, hell
But even
yeah.
the last, the last.
I don't remember
ever,
the last episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I think Will moves to college.
Okay.
And Carlton moves on. Everybody moves out, and
Yeah.
they have the little baby Nikki. And at that point,
yeah.
they started kind of jumping the shark. At that point,
I remember.
And Will was becoming such a massive star. He was getting too big for that show.
Oh, he was, and
Yeah.
he looked too old to be in high school.
Dude, I watched all the white boy shows. I cried at Happy Days
Did
when
you
it ended.
cry-
Shit,
did you
I
cry
with
for
Three's
Seinfeld?
Company. Seinfeld, no, didn't cry on that. I
You didn't even
I
watch it?
thought the finale was stupid.
Oh,
I thought it was dumb.
Were you a Friends guy?
I've become a Friends guy being with Nina Duran. I have never watched Friends until I shacked up with Nina. She watches Friends. That's like one of our go-to-sleep shows.
That's when you were like, let's watch a couple of reruns, fall asleep.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I've seen the finale of that. It's sad, for people. But I wasn't a massive Friends fan. The shows that I invest my emotion in. Cheers was one of them. And so to hear that the great George Wentz got died. When Woody Harrelson, if he ever were to die, I would probably skip work for 2 days.
You like Woody that much?
Dude, Woody's me and Woody are kindred spirits.
Woody's the man.
Pothead, hippie Texas boys, redneck Mexicans. Shit.
You know why some of them, why those stand out to you?
I'm not a pothead.
No. You know why the episodes like that stand out to you, speaking of finales?
Only on even numbered days.
Because
Sorry.
finales normally don't live up to the hype. So the
You're
ones
right.
that are good, you remember them.
Right.
I remember
Rarely.
I remember everybody bitching about The Sopranos sucked, the end. Game of Thrones, people hated the way that ended.
Yeah, I did not like Game of Thrones. I
didn't watch it.
I watched the first three, and I
too late.
put it away.
Yeah, I was too
I thought it
late.
was dumb.
And I was like 8 seasons behind, so I was like, it was too much dialogue to keep up with.
I hate old school Dungeons and Dragons fantasy type stuff.
And there are
I used
too
to
many
insult those
names.
people all the time on
Yeah.
accident. Dude, I couldn't keep. No, I didn't dig it. And to find out, even like the most hardcore fans even all hated the last season. So I felt justified in
Right.
bagging on it and never watching it. No, I never got into that. My favorite all-time television show is Breaking Bad.
Me too.
And
Well,
it
it's the
had-
top 3.
Okay, and it had the best series finale I've ever seen.
It was good.
I didn't cry, but you know what I did do? I stood up and just slow clapped. Wow, just
Yeah.
slow clapped. Nothing can ever top that
Them
ending.
driving out through the thing.
Yeah, people hated
awesome.
the ending of Sopranos. I didn't hate the end. I thought it was fine.
Really?
Yeah.
That was highly controversial.
Right? It's like we all go because we're typical American must have closure. Things
Right.
just can't end. Tony just kept going. The family kept going. You know, the mob kept going. That's
Right.
it. But we can't. He has to either die or go to jail, or we need some sort of closure. Sometimes I thought that was genius the way they
And
ended.
then there's some shows that won't end. The Walking Dead. When won't that end?
Is it still going?
I think The Walking Dead is still going.
Jeez.
I think they got The Walking Dead Wounded Warriors. Like, it's crazy. The Walking Dead won't end.
Right.
All My Children.
Right.
Days of Our Lives.
Still on. Yeah.
That's
still on.
stupid.
Yeah.
Like, novellas end. That's why
Right.
I like novellas. One, the chicks are hotter. But 2, novellas end. So you get some closure. Like, Days of Our Lives, All My Children, it's just stupid. It's been on forever. I feel
Buket, have
weird
you
cussing.
ever
I feel
cried over
weird
any
cussing.
television show ending? I bet no. He's kind of weird. I bet no television series finales ever made you cry, right?
No.
Did you cry when the Red Sox blew the 3-0 lead?
No, I wasn't the. No, we won or beat the Yankees, building a 3-0 lead. But
No,
yeah,
that was in
I too
04
old.
when they won the World Series,
Yeah,
but
I
they've
was-
blown leads before.
You cried about the Red Sox?
I've cried when they won the World Series. Yeah.
Okay, no, he's a
2018.
legit fan. Yeah, he's legit. Yeah, the idiots
2018.
with the overrated Johnny Damon. They were down 3-0 and came back and beat the Yankees in the
Yeah.
04 World Series. Have you ever cried those sad tears over a sports team?
No, I get more angry and just silent.
Okay.
I purchased tickets for just simply too much money for a Red Sox Astros playoff game.
Yeah.
At the time I bought them, we were up 2-1. I was
Okay.
like, oh my god, I can watch a clinching game. We
Right.
lost all the games, and then I watched them lose in front of my face.
So you weren't torn up because Oklahoma State basketball did make the tournament this year?
No, but Baker Mayfield's put me the closest to crying. I will.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. When I watched Bedlam in my freshman
Oh,
year, I went
okay.
there for game day. I was out there the whole night. I slept outside.
Yeah.
And we got dominated. I
Yeah.
called him a bitch before the game too. That was a fun time. Yeah, it was a good
When
time.
is Mike Gundy going to get kicked out of there already?
He should be
7
fired.
years too late.
Yeah, it's
God,
stupid.
God willing. But apparently he's back this year. He got
Of
his
course
ass
he
kicked.
is.
So we'll see. I
They
don't-
love
They're
him.
too chicken shit to hire
too
anybody
chicken
else,
shit.
but they stay with the known
I
product.
agree. I agree. This is all things I've said for the last 3 years.
All
So I
right.
agree.
Thank you for your input.
Thank you.
I didn't think he'd ever cry. I think he's borderline sociopath.
I've never cried for a loss.
You've never cried for a sports loss? No sports loss. You've never had to.
Kobe died, I cried.
You had to take sports walks though before. Like when Kobe died, you probably needed some alone time.
No, when Kobe died, I remember I was fine most of the day, and then I remember I went upstairs and Anna was like, "Are you okay?" And that's how I just started crying. I'd like boo-hooing, like, you know, I lost like someone close to me, but like that slow Denzel Glory, one tear down my cheek type cry. But like a team, one of my teams losing, never.
Boy, I cannot say the same.
When did you
also
cry? What game
emotional.
did you cry? Which one? You got to know it.
I teared up when the Spurs lost to the Heat in the finals.
2013.
Yeah, 2013. And you know what's funny, because what I teared up about, and I would not have teared up, I don't think. I was pissed and hurt and sad. But knowing that Tim was going through a horrific divorce.
Oh, yeah.
And the only reason why we even do that is because the shitty editor at the time of the San Antonio Express News sat on that for weeks and decided to drop that on the front page of the first day of game 1 of the fucking finals, and I tore his ass apart. How dare you do that? That's not news. That's gotcha media bullshit.
That's also why 2014 was so special.
So special. And I cried happy tears that night.
Because they had been through so much, obviously, on the court, but
Yeah.
then they also had all been through a lot off the court. So that's why 14, Tim was really emotional. Pop was emotional. It's been a long, from 07 to 14, it was a long 7 years, and then a lot of drama in between.
I cried when Troy Aikman retired.
You did?
Yeah, I cried at his press conference because he started crying and I started tearing up. I was there.
You know what? I had crocodiles when Jimmy was getting inducted into the hall, and they showed Troy watching it.
Oh yeah, when
That
Jimmy
one
almost
got
had a
me.
heart attack, almost had an asthma death.
That one got me, and I'm not even a Cowboy fan
Yeah,
like
what?
that.
Henry's mustache. Thank you for the $4.99 dono. And he also said that you cried when the Rangers won the World Series because of your dad.
I did. I cried on the show.
Oh, that's right.
So the night that the Rangers, those are happy tears. The
That's
night that
right.
the Rangers won the World Series,
Because of your pops, you're happy for your pops.
I did a live cast from my living room, and my dad called while I was on the show, and I lost my shit on the show because my pops called. I was going to call him after, but I went ahead and took the call, and he was just like, "Can you believe this?" I'm like, "I know, I can't believe this." And then my dad hung up and that was also because of my grandma. My dad's mom spent 40 effing years with that damn organization, the Rangers, never winning a division. Finally won in '96. She was not alive to see it. That woman was by the channel for those damn ding-dong Rangers from the time they got to Arlington from D.C. in like 71, 72, and stuck by their nuts all the way until she passed in 1990. And so when the Rangers won the World Series, I put having my dad call me and then hanging up, then it hit me like thinking like what this would mean to my grandmother had she been alive to see the Rangers actually win the World Series, which is a phrase that still to this day
Don't even
I
sound
have
right.
trouble even saying that the Rangers won the World Series, right? And so I did tear up then.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
I've teared up. Let's see. I teared up when the Cowboys won the Super Bowl in '92 and they beat Buffalo. I was 18 years old. And again, there's that personal stuff because you're already kind of emotional anyway. Then something happens in sports. So January '93, the '92 season, my grandmother was literally on her deathbed, dying of cancer, and the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl. Right? Are you kidding me? Because I grew up with the '80s Cowboys, with them mostly sucking.
Yeah, sure.
And
Same.
so these are my Cowboys. And I mean, I barely remember my daddy's Cowboys of the '70s. And so I grew up with the Cowboys being mediocre and then being horrible and rock bottom with 1-15 in 1989, the whole bit. And so to think that my team was in the Super Bowl was incredible. So here in my senior year of high school, my team's in the Super Bowl. My grandmother's dying. Michael Jackson sings "Heal the World" at the half. I mean, had a lot of emotion going on.
A lot of emotions.
And dude, I bawled my ass off that night. And I was and my grandmother got to see that, even though she was starting to get sicker. She made it to June that year.
Good.
But my grandma got to see the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, and that was a glorious, glorious night in Mike Taylor history. I didn't cry, but I almost did when Texas beat USC in the Natty, when Vince ran the ball into the back of the end zone.
I remember where I was.
I was in my living room.
I had a party. I had a house
we
full
at
of
home?
people.
So
I had a house full of people.
I started off at a bar, but it was all loud. You couldn't hear the broadcast. So at the halftime, I'm like, "This is the Natty. I'm out of here." I needed to watch it at home, just me. And when Vince ran the ball into the corner, that iconic Keith Jackson call, "He's got it!" I just dropped to my knees in my living room and just put my hands in the air like I was at church, and just I soaked in the Lord.
Yeah. No, I went outside.
I found
My whole
Texas
block,
Longhorn Jesus that night.
my whole block was going crazy. My whole street, my entire street where I live at right now, my entire street was
That's badass.
Was going nuts. I had a party. It was a good time. Good times.
I welled up. I didn't like shed tears, but I got, get that little frog.
Yeah.
I got that at McFinnigan's Bar, of all places, when TCU beat Michigan in the national semifinals to go to the national
Go to the
championship.
Natty, even though you knew what was going to happen.
I knew we were going to get steamrolled by Georgia, but I couldn't believe it, Rudy.
Yeah.
Here I am, and then the next week I almost teared up right when the game almost got started. Because they come running out onto the field. You've got the logo, the national championship logo in the middle of the field. Over here in this end zone, it says Georgia. Okay, that makes sense. And over here on this end zone, it's purple, and it says TCU in the end zone. I'm like,
don't even look right.
And then it says "Welcome to the national championship" on the banner.
Yeah.
And I look back over, and it says TCU in the end zone. And I just about lost my shit before the game even started, knowing we were about to get trucked.
It didn't work out too well, but I feel
It's okay. Nothing will ever be able to top that, man. God almighty. All right, I got a movie question for you and our subscribers. So, I'm a big Tom Cruise fan.
Right.
And Tom was...
he's all right.
Okay, that's fine.
He's all right.
That's fine. But, and maybe I'm a poser because I've never seen any of the Mission Impossibles.
I've never seen one.
Never.
Not one.
If for a guy that says he's a big Tom Cruise fan, does not make sense.
Not one.
And you know how I was so geeked when Top Gun Maverick came out a few years back.
I love that. That was awesome. That was a good movie.
And I loved him in Born on 4th of July and The Outsiders and on
I
down
liked
the
him
list.
in the
A Few Good Men.
when he was the drug dealer pilot.
On down the line.
Yeah, I like.
But
he's got some shit I like.
I've never seen Mission Impossible.
Me neither. And it's like, aren't they on number 8 or some shit
Something
now?
like that. So they're getting ready to finally have the last one, I believe. It comes
That's
out
what they
soon.
say.
And I need to know. I'm thinking about going to see it at the theater. But sure, I don't have to have knowing all the backstory, do I?
I think you do.
Like it's all connected?
It's got to be. Let me see what the chat's saying.
I want to know
That's
what
a
people
good
think.
question.
For those that have watched Mission Impossible, do I need to go watch the first 7 or whatever, which I'm not going to do, by the way. I think I might go watch this last one, but only if I can be up to speed without having to watch all the other ones. Maybe I'll cheat and read the backstories or something. I'm thinking I want to go see it at the movies.
You've got to watch Mission Impossible 1, says George Vallejo.
What about 2 through 6,
I know, or
2
2
whatever?
through
2
12,
through 7.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have to watch.
Good
yeah,
question.
Maybe I'll watch the first one, and that maybe is enough. Anyway, I just wanted to throw it out because Tom was saying a couple days ago that he's actually kicking the tires on a Top Gun 3. I'm like, dude, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, if they're going to do it as well as they did Maverick, I'm down.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not going to make it unless it's going to be the shit.
Yeah, he don't do half-ass.
No, and he's also, did you see Days of Thunder?
Of course.
He's
Cold Trickle.
He's kicking the tires on a
What,
Days
he had
of
a son?
Thunder 2.
He had a son while
Who
he was
knows?
out there
He's
on the
probably
circuit.
a crew chief by now
Yeah.
or a team owner or something
Yeah.
like that by now. Anyway, I just wanted to
come
throw
through.
that
You're
out there.
good. No worries.
Wanted to throw that out there. Anyway, what else today, man?
All right, man.
I'm excited. I'm
just
happy.
in case y'all don't know, we're at ACL Live
Reset.
for those that just tuning in for the 2025 PBR draft. Invited out here by Mike's people with the Austin Gamblers. Had a chance to talk with the CEO last week, and then we talked with the deputy commissioner of the entire league today. Both great conversations.
He was really cool.
He was a great conversation, just his background, and not only that, like he enlightened me. I didn't know 4 of these teams were owned by guys that own the Bucks or own this football team or that football team or the
Yeah.
Oakland A's, and then he's dealt with hockey teams, and it's crazy being in rooms like this. Sometimes you don't know, the type of room you're gonna be in until you're in it.
And that's the key. Why this league is blown up. First of all, they already had a sport that people did like a lot.
Like he said, it's been around 25 years
then
before.
how do we take it and introduce it to a national audience that doesn't know anything about it?
And grow it.
The way they've done it, like The Rock's trying his hardest to build that damn, is it UFL, whatever it is, the Brahma's
XFL.
playing, XFL, I don't know what it is. The Brahma's trying hard, and The Rock's trying hard.
Yeah.
But he needs to go get guys that have run NFL teams. He needs to go
Or
get guys
basketball.
or basketball or baseball. Yeah, just sports.
Bring in the guy from the what is
Yeah.
that team called? The Savannah Bananas.
But
Bring in
the banana wieners or whatever. Yeah,
Those people those people sell out every night.
sure.
The Savannah
Sure.
Bananas, that thing is crazy. I know
Right.
it's not real baseball, but
Right, but here's
They
what
making
holds
money.
back. Here's what holds back those football leagues, and Ken probably would agree.
what's that?
Product blows. Why am I going? I'm not going to watch the Brahmas when I got the Cowboys here getting ready to go to training camp. This league is the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's only, this is the elite. This would be like the NFL reinventing itself
Fair.
right now. It's
That's fair.
crazy, right?
That's fair.
Or like that's the NFL deciding, all right, halfway through the season, we're going to start a 10-team playoff tournament that I don't know. I'm not sure what the proper comparison is, but these are the best on earth doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
The Brahmas have to settle for the backup quarterback from Dill Pickle Tech and Utah A&M, and I'm not eyeing down. I can't watch that. These kids you see walk the stage tonight will be millionaires by tomorrow morning when they sign contracts.
Yeah.
They're the elite primo. This is Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper getting drafted here tonight.
Ace Bailey.
Yeah, and so it kind of helps when you're able to, it's 8 seconds, in the ever-rising ADHD world we live in, and you're bringing in the very best guys on the planet to do it. You just had a couple riders walk by now, and they're very young. Too.
Yeah, the rich guests are
They're
starting
very,
to show
very
up.
young. All right, man, that's it. We're done. You want to hit the streets? See hello to Austin?
Let's go.
Let's go. We got to put our gear up. We'll grab something to drink and then come back here and I'm gonna watch this draft a little bit.
Yeah,
All
that's
right?
fine. I'm
Everybody
down with
howling?
that.
All right, thanks everybody. How was the turnout, Bookie? I didn't have the views in front of me. Pretty good? Not bad? Very good. All right, awesome. Thanks everybody. Thank you so much to the PBR. Thank you so much to the Austin Gamblers.
Thank you, JJ.
so much to JJ Gotch and everybody that works PR for the PBR. Couldn't have done this without y'all. Made us feel big time for a night. This is true kick-ass.
Awesome.
Kick-ass stuff.
Give me
All right,
some.
y'all. Thank y'all very much. Thank you, Rudy. Thank y'all very
Appreciate
much.
you, Carlos.
Go Austin Gamblers.
Thank you, Jose.
Thanks, everybody. See y'all in the morning back on our regular in the
Damn,
building
we
at
work
10.
too much.
I know. Love y'all hard. Good night.